The marketplace was alive with noise and colors, stalls selling strange alien fruits, glowing fabrics, and tools that hummed softly. He moved carefully through the crowd, his eyes scanning for trouble, but nothing prepared him for the sudden roar that shattered the air. A blinding flash lit the street and screams filled every corner. The human's heart jumped as he saw a fireball erupt near the center of the market. Chaos spreading in seconds, stalls overturned, people running in every direction, some tripping and falling while others shouted for help. The smell of smoke and burning metal filled his lungs, his instincts screaming at him to run, but something froze him in place. A small, trembling figure at the center of the destruction, a young alien girl with blue-tinged skin and large glowing eyes, her arms raised to protect herself, her mouth opening in a silent scream. He didn't think. He acted, sprinting toward her despite the danger, dodging falling debris and flames that licked the edges of the street, his shoes kicking up sparks as he moved, reaching her just as another explosion shook the ground beneath them, the heat almost burning his skin. He grabbed her small hands and yanked her behind a toppled cart, shielding her body with his own. The shockwave threw him to the ground, pain shooting through his ribs, his ears ringing. The girl clinging to him, shivering in terror, he tried to push himself up. But another blast threw them both to the side, the world spinning around him. He felt the flames and smoke press against his face, the sounds of destruction drowning every thought. The girl's eyes wide with fear, looking at him as if he was her only hope. He whispered for her to stay down, to be quiet, but the words barely reached her ears. He tried to rise again, every muscle screaming in protest, the ground trembling beneath him as if the city itself was alive and angry. He saw a shadow moving among the flames, an armored figure stepping out of the smoke, their eyes glowing red beneath the mask. He realized there was more danger than just the explosions. Someone wanted them both gone. He pushed the girl behind, him again holding her close, ready to face whatever came next. The figure raised a strange weapon, a pulse of energy shooting from it toward them. He rolled to the side, catching the girl in his arms, the blast grazing his shoulder, burning his skin, adrenaline fueling his movements. He ran, zigzagging between the stalls, the city a maze of chaos, people screaming and falling, the smell of fire thick in the air, his mind racing. He needed to get the girl to safety, he couldn't let her die. He remembered a narrow alley near the edge of the market, a place he could hide. He ran toward it, his lungs burning, his heart pounding like a drum. Explosions, behind him and the strange figure still following. The girl's small hands gripping his shirt, trembling against him. He whispered promises he wasn't sure he could keep, telling her everything would be okay, that he would protect her. They reached the alley, ducking behind crates and barrels, the sound of their pursuers' footsteps echoing. He pressed her down, covering her with his body, his ears straining for any sign of the enemy. A piece of burning debris fell near them, smoke curling around, their hiding place. He held the girl close, feeling her small body shaking against him, her tears wetting his chest. He tried to calm her, brushing a strand of glowing hair from her face, telling her to breathe slowly, to stay quiet. The explosions continuing, the city in chaos. He realized he couldn't stay there long. The enemy would find them soon. He looked around, searching for another way out, another chance to escape. The market behind them a burning nightmare. He felt a hand on his shoulder, a warning that more danger was near. He turned slightly, heart in his throat, ready to act, every nerve on fire. The world around him a blur of smoke, fire, and screams. He knew one thing with perfect clarity. He would not let this girl die, not on his watch. As another explosion tore through the street, sending a wave of debris toward them, he shielded her, bracing for impact, and everything went black. The last thing he saw was her terrified eyes staring at him, pleading, trusting him with her life, and then nothing. Silence, darkness, and the unknown waiting for him beyond the blast. The city screaming behind him, and a new, dangerous world ready to reveal its secrets. He had no idea what awaited him when he opened his eyes again, but he knew one thing: he had saved her, even if it cost him everything. When he opened his eyes, everything was strange and quiet. The brightness of the market replaced by a soft, dim glow that seemed to hum around him, His body ached in ways he had never felt before, his chest heavy, ribs sore, and muscles trembling from the blast. He tried to move, but his limbs felt strange, heavier yet lighter at the same time. The air smelled metallic like iron mixed with ozone, and the sound of his own breathing seemed too loud in the stillness. He blinked, trying to focus, and realized he was not in the market, not in any place he had ever known. He was lying on a smooth surface, cold and hard beneath him, walls around him glowing faintly with patterns that shifted as he stared, strange symbols moving like liquid light. His eyes widened as he noticed devices that floated in the air, screens showing incomprehensible shapes and numbers. His heart began to race, panic rising. He pushed himself up slowly, the world tilting, around him the hum of the room seeming to pulse with his heartbeat. He called out, his voice echoing softly, "Hello?" But no answer came, only the hum of strange machines. He rose to his feet, wobbling, trying to understand where he was. The room was circular, walls curving up like the inside of a giant egg, doors that shimmered in the light but gave no sound when he touched them. He took a cautious step forward, feeling like a stranger in a place that was alive. Breathing, watching him, he felt a tingle along his arms and legs like electricity running beneath his skin. A strange warmth spreading from his chest. He looked down and saw faint glowing lines tracing along his arms, small symbols appearing and disappearing. He didn't remember them being there before the blast. Fear mixed with awe, questions flooding his mind. What had happened to him? Where was he? And why did he feel different? He took another step, and the glowing lines pulsed stronger, as if responding to him. Then a sound, faint, like a whisper, brushing against his ears. "He is awake," it said, voice soft but confident, sending shivers down his spine. He spun around, but the room was empty. Nothing visible, only walls and floating devices. He swallowed hard, heart racing. "Who's there?" he asked, his voice shaking slightly. The whisper returned. "You cannot hide anymore." And then silence again. He stepped closer to a floating console, reaching out, curious and cautious. And the screen lit up with images, not his memories. Exactly, but flashes of people, places, and events he did not understand. Glimpses of stars, planets, and ships moving through the void. His mind struggled to connect with them. The room seemed alive with knowledge, information flowing into him slowly. He felt his senses sharpen, colors brighter, sounds clearer, even the faint vibrations in the floor beneath him. Every step felt purposeful, but he didn't know why. He moved to a doorway that shimmered with blue light, touching it, and it opened silently, revealing a long corridor filled with more floating screens and symbols. He stepped inside, cautious, every muscle tense. The corridor curved endlessly, walls pulsating softly like a heartbeat. He felt a presence following him, though he saw nothing. A shadow in the corner of his mind. He turned quickly, but only the hum of the machines answered him. He tried to remember the girl from the market, the one he had saved, but her image was fragmented, blurry, like a dream slipping away. He whispered her name, "Are you here?" And a small glow appeared at the far end of the corridor, pulsing slowly, beckoning him. He walked toward it, each step echoing softly, the room bending around him in strange ways. He could feel something waiting, something powerful, watching him. And when he reached the glow, it coalesced into a figure familiar and strange. The girl from the market, her blue-tinged skin brighter, her eyes glowing softly, her hair floating as if underwater. She looked at him with an unreadable expression. "You are awake," she said simply, her voice melodic. "You are far from your world, and yet you are here because of choice." He opened his mouth to speak, but words failed him, fear and confusion choking him. She stepped closer, and the glowing lines on his arms pulsed in response, as if recognizing her. "You do not understand," she whispered. "But your arrival was expected, and the secrets you carry are older than your galaxy." He shook his head, trying to make sense. I just tried to save you in the market. I don't know anything about secrets, She raised her hand and a soft energy surrounded him, calming and terrifying at the same time. "That is enough for now," she said. "But you must prepare, for you are not the same. And everything, you knew, will change." His mind spun with questions, the hum of the room growing louder, his senses sharper, the world around him alien and alive. And in that moment, he realized the truth. He had survived the blast, but he was no longer simply human, and the galaxy waiting outside these walls held dangers and truths that no one had ever told him. He didn't know what would happen next, but one thing was clear: his life, and the girls, were now bound together, and whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. He blinked, still trying to understand the strange world around him, the dim light of the corridor reflecting off the smooth walls, making them shimmer like water. The girl stepped closer, her glowing eyes locked on his, and for the first time he noticed something strange. Her skin seemed to ripple, as if tiny currents of energy ran just beneath the surface. He took a cautious step back, but the glowing lines on his arms pulsed, reacting to her presence, a warmth spreading through his chest, making his heart pound faster. He swallowed hard, trying to form words, but nothing came out. She tilted her head slightly, a curious expression on her glowing face. "You can feel it, can't you?" she asked softly. "The energy between us. It is older than your world. It has chosen you." He shook his head, confusion mixing with fear. "I don't understand. I'm just a human. I didn't ask for this. I tried to save you." She smiled faintly, almost sadly, and raised her hands, small sparks of blue energy dancing around her fingertips. "It is not about choice anymore," she said. "You are part of something far greater, something you cannot yet see, and if you do not accept it, danger will find you and it will destroy everything you care about." He stepped back, feeling a shiver run down his spine, the energy in the room growing stronger, swirling around them like a storm. He noticed the walls were no longer just walls. They seemed to pulse with life, with consciousness, the symbols on them rearranging, forming patterns he couldn't read but somehow understood, his mind spinning. What are you?" he asked finally, his voice trembling. She looked at him, her glowing eyes filled with an emotion he could not name. "I am what they called the Keeper, a guardian of secrets, a bridge between worlds. I was trapped in your world, and you saved me, but in doing so you bound yourself to a path that no human has walked before." He stumbled backward, trying to process her words. "Bound to what?" She raised a hand, and suddenly the corridor around them dissolved into light, and he saw visions. Flashes of planets and stars, of ships moving silently through space, of alien creatures with eyes like fire, all connected by threads of glowing energy. He fell to his knees, overwhelmed. The girl knelt beside him, placing a hand gently on his shoulder. "All of this is connected to you," she whispered. "The moment you stepped into the blast, you became more than human. Your life, your choices, even your very existence is tied to the fate of galaxies, to secrets older than time itself." He shook his head, feeling panic rise. "I don't even know how to live like this. I just wanted to save you. I didn't ask to be part of a galaxy's secrets." She reached out, her fingers brushing against his glowing arm, and he felt a surge of energy flow into him, images and feelings he couldn't name flooding his mind, his body tingling, his senses heightened, colors more vivid, sounds clearer, even the hum of the corridor now like a language he almost understood. "It is not just about saving me," she said softly. "It is about what you can do now and what you must do. Enemies will come, forces that have waited centuries for this moment. They will not show mercy, but you have the power to change everything." He struggled to stand, legs trembling, every nerve screaming, but a strange calm washed over him, a certainty he could not explain. He looked at her, the girl from the market, and saw not just a victim, but a being of strength and mystery, her energy humming in the air, a light that seemed to touch every corner of the corridor. "You have no idea who you are now," she said, eyes intense. "But very soon, you will see, and the choices you make will echo across worlds." He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself, the hum of the corridor filling his ears, the visions of stars and galaxies burning in his mind. He realized the truth. The girl he saved was not ordinary. The blast had changed him. Her presence had changed him. And together they held the key to secrets no one had dared to imagine. Oh. Flicker of doubt crossed his mind. Could he be strong enough? Could he survive what was coming? But then he looked into her eyes, glowing and unwavering, and felt a strange courage, the kind that comes only when everything familiar has fallen away, when you are left with the unknown and nothing else. He nodded slowly, words unnecessary, and she smiled faintly, a spark of relief in her eyes. "Come," she said, "you must learn to see the truth and to awaken what lies within you. The longer you wait, the more dangerous it becomes, and the enemies are already moving." Together, they stepped forward, the corridor stretching endlessly before them, light and energy swirling around. Every step a revelation, every breath a challenge, and in that moment he understood. He was no longer just a human, and she was no longer just a girl he had saved. They were now bound by fate, by secrets, and by a galaxy that held more danger and wonder than he had ever imagined. The adventure had only just begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The corridor stretched endlessly ahead, glowing softly with alien symbols that pulsed like a heartbeat. He followed the girl, his steps careful, every sense alert, the energy in the air making his skin tingle. Every movement he made seemed to echo through the walls. Though no sound returned, the girl walked gracefully, her blue-tinged skin shimmering. In the light, her eyes bright with purpose, she glanced back at him. "Do you feel it?" she asked, voice low, almost melodic. "The truth waiting to be seen?" He nodded, though he did not fully understand. The energy in his veins pulsing stronger with every step, making him feel alive and scared at the same time. He swallowed hard, trying to steady his breathing. I think I feel something, but it doesn't make sense. Everything is so strange." She smiled faintly. "That is because it is beyond what you have ever known. The blast did not just save me, it awakened something in you, something older than humanity itself." He looked down at his arms, the glowing lines now brighter, weaving and shifting like living rivers. He flexed his fingers, the lines moving with his touch, and he realized he could feel the energy of the room, of the walls, the floating consoles, even of the girl herself, a strange power humming beneath the surface of reality. "I don't know how to control it," he admitted, his voice shaking slightly. "It's too much," she nodded, understanding, and placed a hand gently on his shoulder, the energy from her flowing into him, calming the panic, guiding him. "You will learn," she said softly. "But first you must see the truth of this place." She led him to a large chamber at the end of the corridor, the doors shimmering like liquid metal as they opened, revealing a vast room filled with floating spheres, each one containing swirling lights, stars, and tiny images of alien worlds. He stepped inside, awe striking him silent, the sheer scale of the place overwhelming his mind. The girl raised her hands and the spheres began to move, forming patterns connecting with glowing threads of light. He realized they were like a map, not of space but of history. Secrets hidden across galaxies, civilizations rising and falling, battles fought in silence, knowledge too powerful for most to see. "This is the archive," she explained. "Every secret, every prophecy, every danger is stored here, waiting for the ones who are ready to face it." He looked around, his eyes wide. "Why me? I'm just human. I barely survived the blast. How could I be part of this?" She walked closer, her eyes locking with his. "Because you acted without thinking. Because you chose to save life when it was easiest to run." That choice awakened the connection, a rare bond between human and keeper, one that has not existed for centuries. Through this bond, you are now part of the archive, and the knowledge it holds can guide or destroy you. He felt a shiver run down his spine, every word sinking deep into him. He stepped closer to one of the spheres, reaching out, and images swirled faster. Stars, alien cities, strange creatures moving in ways he could not comprehend. He blinked, feeling his mind struggle to process it all. It is too much. He whispered, I can't take it all in. She placed her hand over his, guiding him. You don't need to take it all at once. Just what you need. The rest will come with time. There are dangers approaching, enemies who have waited for this awakening. They will not be patient, and they will not forgive. He felt a cold weight settle over him. The thought of danger, of powerful enemies hunting him and the girl, made his stomach twist. Enemies? He asked, voice tight. What kind of enemies? She hesitated, then nodded toward one of the spheres, showing a dark world, fires burning across the surface, alien armies moving in formation. They are seekers of power, creatures that desire the archive's secrets for themselves. They have followed the path of destruction for centuries, and now they have found the signal you created when the blast awakened you. He took a step back, feeling panic rise, but the girl placed a steadying hand on his chest. You are ready, she said. The bond gives you strength, but you must trust yourself, and trust me. Together, we can face what is coming. But you must learn quickly, for time is not on our side. He looked around at the glowing spheres, the threads of light, the knowledge of galaxies and civilizations, and he realized the weight of his new reality. He was no longer just a human. The girl he saved was no longer just a victim, and the world outside, the galaxy outside, was more dangerous and more alive than he could have imagined. He nodded slowly, determination building. I will try, he said, and she smiled faintly, her glow intensifying. Trying is the first step, she said. Now you must learn to see, to awaken the power you carry, and to protect what we have uncovered. For the enemies are moving even now, and the hidden truth will not wait for the unprepared. He took a deep breath, feeling the energy in his veins, the pulsing of the walls, the hum of the room, and realized for the first time that he was not afraid, not entirely. The fear was still there, but beneath it a spark of courage, a spark that would grow, and he understood the secrets of the galaxy, the enemies hunting them, the path ahead. None of it would be easy, but together they could face it. The hidden truth was dangerous, and it was beautiful, and he was ready to learn it all. The chamber hummed with energy. As he stood among the floating spheres, his fingers brushing against the threads of light that connected them, he could feel the power inside him, pulsing, waiting to be shaped. The girl watched him carefully, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. You are ready for the first test, she said, her voice calm but serious. It is not about fighting or running, it is about control, focus, and understanding what you have become. He swallowed hard, his heart racing. I don't know if I can do this, he admitted. It's too much. The power, the knowledge. I feel like I'm losing myself. She stepped closer, placing a hand on his arm, the energy from her flowing into him, steadying his trembling body. You will not lose yourself, she said softly. You will learn to guide the energy, to see with it, and to act when the moment comes. The test is simple in concept but difficult in practice, and failure is not an option. He nodded slowly, trying to steady his breathing, and then she raised her hands and the room changed. The spheres disappeared, replaced by a vast open space, dark and endless. Stars glowing faintly in the distance. He looked around, unsure of what to do. This is your test, she said, voice echoing in the emptiness. You must navigate through the shadows, find the light, and bring it back. But beware, the shadows are not just darkness. They are your fears, your doubts, and your enemy's illusions. He swallowed hard, taking a cautious step forward, the ground beneath him solid but shifting. Like water frozen in place, shadows moved around him. Dark forms that whispered his failures, his weaknesses, his fears. You cannot let them distract you, the girl said. Focus on the light and it will guide you. He clenched his fists. Feeling the energy in his veins surge, he took a deep breath and ran. The shadows lunging at him, twisting, forming into shapes he recognized. The face of the man who had ignored him on the streets. The city collapsing around him. the explosion. He had survived playing over and over. He stumbled but forced himself forward, focusing on a faint glow in the distance, his own energy flaring, the glowing lines on his arms guiding him. The shadows hissed and lunged, but each step he took, he felt control growing, the pulsing power responding to his will. The girl's voice echoed, "Do not fear them. They are illusions, created to test you, not to harm you." He closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the energy flowing through him, connecting to everything in the space, the stars, the shadows, even the girl herself. And then he opened his eyes, seeing clearly the path. To the light ahead, he ran faster, the shadows screaming and swirling, trying to pull him back, but he pushed forward, every fear dissolving into the energy he now commanded. Finally, he reached the light, a small glowing orb floating above a pedestal. He stretched out his hand, feeling the power of the orb, and then the shadows converged, forming a massive figure, taller than the tallest building he had ever seen. Its face obscured, its presence overwhelming. His heart raced, but he took a deep breath, grounding himself, focusing on the energy, and the figure faltered. The light in his hand growing stronger, the shadows shrinking back, he realized the test was not just to reach the orb, but to face what terrified him most, the darkness within himself. He felt a surge of confidence, a fire he had never known, and the figure dissolved. The shadows vanished, leaving only the glowing orb in his hand. He held it tightly, feeling the energy merge with his own. The girl appeared beside him, smiling. "You have passed the first test," she said, her eyes filled with pride. "But this is only the beginning. The enemies are already moving, and soon they will come for you. For the power you now hold, you must be ready to fight, to protect, and to guide." He nodded, feeling a strange mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. The test had pushed him to his limits, but he had survived, and in surviving, he had grown. The chamber returned, the spheres glowing again, his energy still pulsing. He felt different, stronger, more aware. The girl placed her hand on his shoulder. "You are ready for what comes next," she said. "But remember, the first test is only a small glimpse of the challenges ahead. Your enemies will not be illusions. They will be real, and they will not forgive." He took a deep breath, looking at her, determination burning in his chest. "I am ready," he said firmly, and she nodded, a flicker of relief in her eyes. Then the next stage begins. The path is dangerous, and the secrets of the archive are not yet fully revealed, but together, we can face what is coming and perhaps even change the fate of the galaxy. He clenched his fists, feeling the energy surge once more, the light from the spheres reflecting in his eyes. And he knew, no matter what happened, he would face it. He would protect her, and he would uncover the secrets that had chosen him. The first test had shown him a glimpse of his potential, but the real battle, the real awakening, was only just beginning. The walls of the chamber trembled as he and the girl stepped outside, the air thick with tension, the quiet of the streets now replaced by distant echoes of alarms. Something moved in the shadows, fast and deliberate. He felt it before he saw it, a chill crawling up his spine. "They are here," she whispered, her eyes scanning the darkness. "The seekers of the archive. They followed the signal of your awakening. They know you hold the key." He gripped his fists, feeling the energy pulse through his veins, the glowing lines on his arms now steady, guiding him, ready to act. The first shadow darted forward, a humanoid figure clad in dark armor, its eyes glowing red. It moved with unnatural speed. He leaped to intercept, energy flaring from his hands. Striking the figure, it staggered but did not fall. More shadows emerged from the corners, creatures of darkness and steel. He counted at least a dozen, all advancing. His heart raced, fear mingling with the thrill of battle. "Focus!" the girl shouted, her hands glowing as she raised a shield of light, deflecting an incoming strike from one of the enemies. "You have the power, use it." He took a deep breath, centering himself, his energy responding, extending outward like waves of light. He moved swiftly, striking the nearest enemy, the armor clanging but yielding to his force. Another charged and he ducked, rolling to the side, energy from his arms shooting like lightning, striking multiple foes at once. The ground shook with the impact, debris scattering. The girl moved beside him, her energy weaving with his, creating barriers, redirecting attacks. They worked in sync, an unspoken connection guiding their movements. "They are stronger than the illusions," he said, breathing heavily. "We need to push harder." She nodded. "Then do not hold back. Trust the bond." He focused, letting the energy flow freely, the lines on his arms glowing brighter, tendrils of light reaching out, striking. Enemies breaking their formation. One enemy managed to get past, striking at him with a sharp blade he barely blocked. Sparks flying, the force throwing him back a few steps, pain flaring in his side. But he shook it off, feeling the energy surge again, stronger, more controlled. He lashed out, the blade shattered into fragments as the energy hit it, the enemies faltering. He saw an opening, his body moving faster than thought, striking multiple enemies in a blur, each blow precise, each movement guided by the pulse of the energy in him. But then a figure stepped forward, larger than the rest, its presence commanding. He recognized the symbol on its chest, the mark of a high-ranking seeker, its energy dark and twisted, clashing with his own. He felt a wave of fear, almost freezing him in place, but the girl touched his arm, her energy steadying him. "Do not falter. You have the power to face it." He gritted his teeth, focusing, feeling the bond with her, the archive, and the energy around him. He launched forward, the two energies colliding with the seeker, a shockwave ripping through the street, scattering debris, the force knocking him to the ground, but he rose, refusing to yield, his energy flaring. He struck again, the seeker staggering, red light flickering in its eyes. He realized the power was not just in attacking, but in controlling, guiding, using the energy to manipulate the battlefield. He raised his hands, sending a wave of light that pushed the enemies back, the girl reinforcing it with her shield. Together they formed a wall of energy, the seekers faltering, retreating, but not disappearing. "This is only the first wave," she said, breathing heavily. "They will return stronger. And next time, they will not underestimate you." He looked at the street, the debris, the enemies retreating, his own arms glowing, his body exhausted but alive. "I understand," he said, determination burning in his chest. "I have to be ready for them, and I will protect the archive and you." She nodded, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We survived this confrontation, but the real battle is ahead. Your training, your bond, and your courage will be tested, like never before." He looked at her, his mind racing with thoughts of the next fight, the enemies, and the secrets he had yet to uncover. He realized the world had changed forever. He was no longer just a human. The girl was no longer just someone he saved together. They had faced darkness and emerged stronger. The streets were quiet now, but the energy in the air warned them. Danger was still coming, and he knew, with every pulse of the glowing lines on his arms, that this confrontation was only the beginning of a war that would shake the galaxy itself. The sky above the city was dark, clouds swirling unnaturally, the air thick with tension and the scent of ozone. He stood at the edge of the ruined street, his energy pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. The girl beside him glowing faintly, her eyes scanning the horizon. "They are coming," she whispered. "The true seekers, the ones who will not stop until the archive is theirs." He clenched his fists, feeling the lines of energy on his arms flare stronger than ever. His first confrontation had shown him what he could do. But this was something different, something more dangerous. Shadows moved in the distance, tall and imposing, each one radiating dark power. He swallowed hard. "I'm ready," he said, though his stomach twisted with fear. The girl nodded, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Ready to face the truth," she said. "The secrets you were seeking, the ones hidden in the archive, will be revealed tonight, but beware. Some truths are heavier than any enemy you have faced." He glanced at her, uncertainty flickering across his face. "I can handle it," he said, trying to convince himself more than her. The ground trembled, a shockwave of energy rippling through the streets. The true seekers emerged, their forms larger, more terrifying than before, cloaked in darkness and shimmering with energy that made his pulse quicken. They advanced, and he felt the air itself resist his energy. As if the world wanted to stop him, he stepped forward, the girl moving with him, their powers connecting, weaving light and energy into a shield. The first seeker stepped forward, its voice low, chilling. So, the human has awakened, and yet, he does not know who holds the real power. He tightened his fists, focusing on the energy in his veins, the ground beneath them shaking with every step of the seekers. The girl whispered, "They know your past, the secrets you carry, and they will use them against you." His heart skipped, his mind racing. My past. The seeker advanced, energy rippling from its hands, and suddenly, memories flashed before him, images of the explosion, the moment he fell, the archive, the girl. But then, something new, something hidden. He saw visions of himself, not as he, remembered but altered, stronger, infused with energy he had never known. He staggered, the truth hitting him. I was chosen," he whispered, realization dawning. Not just by chance, but for a purpose. The girl's hand steadied him. "The archive selected you, your energy, your courage, everything you are. They could sense it." He nodded, his mind spinning. But why? Why me? The seeker laughed, a sound like shattering glass. "Because you are the key, the one who can unlock the secrets of the galaxy, the one who can tip the balance of power." And they feared it. He clenched his fists, energy flaring, the first attack of the true seekers striking like lightning. He dodged, deflected, countered, the battle a blur of light, shadows and raw power, every move guided by the newfound truth in him. The girl's energy fused with his, pushing back, the enemy. But then a shadow struck from behind, a figure he did not recognize, its face obscured but its presence familiar. Memories came rushing, fragments of his past, moments he had buried, and the figure spoke, voice cold and cutting. "You think you know who you are, but the real secret is not your power. It is your origin." He stumbled, the ground shaking beneath him, the energy in him reacting violently. The girl shouted, "Focus, you can handle this." But the truth clawed at his mind, pieces of himself, erased, hidden, memories not his own, and he realized the archive had chosen him not just for power, but to hide something. Something that could destroy or save the galaxy. He looked at the figure, understanding dawning. I am more than human," he whispered, the energy around him flaring uncontrollably, the seekers faltering, fear in their eyes, the girl's hand on his shoulder grounding him. "Yes, and now you know, embrace it. And the secrets will serve you, not them." He took a deep breath, letting the power flow, memories merging, the energy of the archive, the girl and himself all aligning. He felt the ultimate clarity, the true purpose of his awakening. With one final surge, he unleashed a wave of energy that scattered the seekers, light blazing through the streets, shadows evaporating, and the hidden figure fell back, defeated. The city silent except for the hum of his energy. The girl smiled, tears in her eyes. "You did it. You faced the truth, the secrets, and the enemy." He nodded, exhausted but alive, stronger than ever, the lines on his arms glowing, not just as power, but as a symbol of his destiny. He looked at the girl. "The galaxy, it will never be the same." She nodded. "And neither will you." Together they stood amidst the ruins, the sky clearing, stars shining brightly. The first battle won, the secrets revealed, but the journey far from over. He had faced the ultimate truth, embraced his origin, and now with the girl beside him he was ready to change the fate of the galaxy forever.